Joy News Prime.
From our Far Street here in Accra, this is Joy News Prime, your most comprehensive 2 hours of news on television in Ghana. Over the next 2 hours, we'll bring you the biggest headlines of the day, as well as business, sports, entertainment, our interactive segment, and international news. In this edition, government to settle on private sector suit for the Electricity Company of Ghana by May 2017 under the Millennium Challenge Compact. Ministry of Transport urges the public to be measured in commentary on Starboard Airlines accident at Tamale Airport on Tuesday. Accra Police advise vehicle owners to install tracking devices in their cars as number of carjackings shoot up.
Minister of Trade, Labour Relations asks striking psychiatric nurses to call off their industrial action as government works on resolving their concerns. However, turns out the problem confronting the facility extends beyond striking nurses. And in Business Tonight, Finance Ministry said to have resumed engagements with investors towards raising Eurobond loan, but at what interest rates and what will be the implications? Joy News Prime is also available across Europe.
And my name is Israelite. Please stay tuned. The Transport Ministry is urging caution in public commentary on Tuesday's accident involving a Starboard Airlines plane at the Tamale Airport. Though the plane overshot the runway and crashed into a barricade, no serious injuries were recorded. Transport Minister Jifat Tivo told journalists in Accra the government is awaiting a full report on the incident and will take decisive action thereafter.
I was at KJB yesterday to inaugurate their district assembly when a call came in that there was an incident at the Tamale Airport. I called the acting director general, and he told me he had dispatched his team to Tamale to investigate what actually happened. So as at now, we have not received any feedback from them because he tells me they are expected back this evening. So until then, I am not able to say anything about what happened yesterday at the Tamale Airport until the report has been received. Yes, there's scheduled inspection for aircraft that fly our routes. There is also random checks that is carried on. But you agree with me that when the Starboard was given the safety certification, I mean, anything can happen after that. It's an equipment, so let's not equate it to them having been certified 2 weeks ago, and why should there be an incident just after 2 weeks? It can happen to any equipment, but I believe that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is well equipped to check those things and, where necessary, guide them to ensure that our airspace continues to be one of the safest in Africa.
Well, Joy News has learned a Ghana Civil Aviation team dispatched to ascertain what happened at the Tamale Airport has returned and been briefing management, who would be getting onto the phone lines to get to reach management to find out exactly what they found out on their trip. In other news, President John Dramani Mahama has described the suspension of 7 judges accused of corruption as a clear indication of the robust nature of the country's judicial system. In an interview with a French TV channel, the president said that respect for due process in the government has directed nurses to call off their strike as it continues to work towards the settlement of their salary arrears. Addressing a news conference in Accra, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations Haruna Idrisu said government has already paid 348 psychiatric nurses, adding that the unpaid 7,900 nurses should receive the arrears by the end of October.
I'm happy to know that at the end of September, 90 of the category of psychiatric nurses were in fact paid by the Controller and Accountant General on the basis of data that was submitted by the HR division of the Ministry of Health. An additional 258 psychiatric nurses have been paid today. The money hits the accounts of their hospitals from the Bank of Ghana, and therefore they should check their bank details. My plea to them is to return back to work, to save lives, and to manage the emotional, traumatic, psychological challenges of the persons who need psychiatric support and intervention whilst we continue to dialogue. Therefore, government honored its part in making sure that they were paid. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, it's important that I emphasize that you have 7,900 unpaid nurses. This refers to categories of nurses who have worked for various and different periods of time. Some 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, who have not been paid. Government have made a commitment, and we stand by that commitment, and we religiously pursue that commitment, that we will tighten reforms of payroll and tighten controls of payroll and eliminate fraud associated with payroll administration in this country. Even if you want to strike, follow laid down procedure per the Labour Act of Ghana. This new government policy, and our policy is that we will not pay for striking workers. It's new government policy that if you go on strike, provided that the strike is so determined not to be lawful, government is not obliged to pay you for the period to which you are on strike.
Joining me in the studio now is spokesperson for the psychiatric nurses, Emmanuel February. Good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Good evening.
Now, how many of your colleagues, first of all, have you received your monies?
Israel, as I speak with you, as I stand here, there's nothing in my pocket. I haven't received a penny of the amount.
Not in your bank account. Have you checked? Because the minister said you should check your bank account.
Yes, when we heard the information this morning, I rushed back to my bank to see whether I can get something. I was hoping that in the course of the week, probably I'll get some message from my bank that the money has been paid. But I speak with you, I've not gotten the money yet.
What updates have you been giving as to where the money is right now?
As we all heard in the press, that the money has been released into the hospital's account today.
Have you been able to confirm that?
Yes, we had a meeting with the administration and they confirmed that they've received the money. So as we speak right now, it's in the hospital's account.
So are you calling off your strike?
We just had a meeting with them late in the day, around 4 p.m. So which was a bit late, and we took the documents that we want to go and study because there been some a little discrepancies. So we want to study, then we'll meet our group, then we'll let the entire nation know of the outcome.
So you want to present it to your group before you tell us whether you're calling off the strike or not?
Exactly so. So likely tomorrow the group will get to know and the entire nation will know about it, our next line of action.
Right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel February. He's a spokesperson for the psychiatric nurses. Now, the psychiatric hospital is having to deal with a lot more than the strike by the nurses there. Joy News has learned supplies of food and other essentials needed for the upkeep of the facility are no longer willing to serve them, mainly because they have not been paid for previous supplies. This is also because their subventions are not forthcoming. Joy News' Fred Smith tells me the facility was able to feed its patients only because the National Disaster Management Organization donated some items. Yahweh explains management has decided to now charge patients who visit the facility for services that hitherto were free. This, he says, left many patients stranded.
Management expects government to provide them the subventions that the law says they should, but unfortunately these funds are not coming to the facility, and therefore they decided that they're going to pass on the cost to patients. At least they have two options. One is to close it down, the other one is to charge. I mean, both are bad, but the lesser evil would be to charge so the facility can continue to run. So they've implemented and
so they decided to charge?
Exactly. So from this morning, people who were visiting the hospital for the first time previously would have paid 25 Ghana cedis for a folder. Today you'd pay 40 cedis. Then to see a doctor, it used to be 10 cedis. You now have to pay 30 cedis. So before a doctor starts to examine you, and we're talking about mental patients, you should have paid 70 cedis.
Okay, so previously they were paying something, but now they're having to pay a bit more.
Yeah, there was a standard fee that's for a folder and the registration before you go and see the doctor, so they can understand what your situation is. That was standard, so they were doing it. But the main treatment, you were not supposed to pay for it. For instance, if you became aggressive and you were brought there, the drugs that you'll be given, you're not supposed to pay for it. If you, for instance, need assessment for your child, if it's a school that they are attending and you need that service, it's supposed to be free, and the law says so. But as it stands now, the subventions are not coming and they are forced to take this drastic measure. And before somebody, I met a patient, for instance, who got aggressive. The family brought her. In fact, it was last night. It was late, very late yesterday. So there was nobody available, because of the strike by the nurses. So they had to find somewhere around the hospital to sleep. And as early as 5 a.m., they were ready to see the authorities, and they were told, well, you'd need to pay some amount of money before. And these are people who had traveled all around. I can
imagine. So how were the patients reacting? The people who were coming in today only to realize that they have to pay so much?
Well, for those who had the money, they paid. They willingly paid because they just needed help for their relatives. Those who did not have started calling around, and at a point, I had one patient, I had to give her money to buy credit to call other family members who could come and help, and for about 3 hours, nobody was coming. So I decided.
You're watching Joy News Prime. Still to come, put a tracking device in your car. That's the advice from the Accra Regional Police Command following a spate of carjackings in the national capital. We'll have that coming up for you along with other stories after the break. Please stay tuned. Now, it should be known to Ghanaians by the end of 2016, the private sector player that will operate the Electricity Company of Ghana for the foreseeable future under the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact signed with Ghana. The Millennium Development Authority, which is the implementing agency for the compact, announced this today at a news conference to brief the media about progress made so far towards the release of the almost $500 million grant from the U.S. government to transform Ghana's electricity distribution sector. The Millennium Development Authority, MIDA, only last week advertised the expression of interest so that entities locally and internationally interested in running the Electricity Company of Ghana for between 20 and 30 years will declare their interest. Such an entity, the Chief Executive of MIDA, Engineer Owura Asafo, explains, should have the financial wherewithal as well as the technical competence to help overhaul ECG.
Looking for somebody who will manage ECG, who will operate ECG, and who will carry out investments in ECG over the time frame. And so what the concessionaire is bringing is that he's bringing in capital. He's going to bring in arranged capital, much needed capital, to be able to improve the existing system that we are. ECG requires replacement of obsolete equipment, so the concessionaire will bring in that capital. Secondly, the concessionaire will bring in people who have got the technical expertise to be able to run enterprises like ECG. I'm talking about distribution enterprises so they are bringing in a technical expert. They are also bringing in technology. We have to have technology that will address issues of commercial losses.
And I'm joined in the studio by Engineer Owura Asafo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Development Authority. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
And thank you for making time to join us.
Well, and thank you for having me.
All right. Now, one of the key issues that I'm sure most people will be worried about, especially the workers of ECG, will be what will happen to them. How do you address that?
Well, I think this is a very, very important issue, and it is understandable. But fortunately, when we carried out studies on the present ECG system, we realized that ECG is currently not overstaffed. They don't have more than staff that they require to run the system.
Really? Because we've heard complaints about people saying that ECG probably has too many workers.
No, when you look at the system that ECG is operating and you compare it to most excellent systems all over the world, in Africa and other places, we realize that ECG is actually, the truth of the matter is not overstaffed. And therefore, in designing the transaction structure, we do not have a retrenchment program. As I said, there may be people who may not be interested in moving over to the new company, and we will have to put in an arrangement for them. But we will not have massive retrenchment as we have had in some such programs in other countries and other jurisdictions.
Now, one other issue is typically when the private sector enters into any arrangement, then there's a profit motive, which means that they probably may be charging us a whole lot more for the power that they sell to us, and we may not be in a position to pay.
Well, the good thing about the power market and the electricity market is that it's a regulated market, regulated for quality of service and regulated for prices. All over the world, electricity market is regulated. So you cannot have an operator having runaway profits. It doesn't happen. When the concessionaire comes in, they will still be regulated by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission for quality of service. And they will also be regulated for price. The tariffs that they charge will be set and agreed upon by PURs. They will also need a license from Energy Commission. And so we will not have a situation where they would, we will have runaway prices. That will not happen.
Because already PRC is hinting, about the fact that we're going to be, because the power budgets are coming in, we're going to be paying a whole lot more than we're paying at the moment.
Well, PURC has its own program of how tariffs are set, and I think I will not want to delve into that. But so far as the compact is concerned, I do not think that the compact will necessarily increase prices. As a matter of fact, when you have a more experienced, so to speak, operator operating the system in such a manner that technical losses are reduced, commercial losses are reduced. As a matter of fact, you should rather, see a situation where tariffs should rather reduce rather than increasing,
So are you guaranteeing a situation where, let's talk about transparency, how are we sure that we're not going to hand over, or ECG is not going to be handed over to a certain company whose operations will benefit some people rather than benefiting the general public good? I'm talking about issues of transparency here.
Well, issues of transparency are very, very important, and it is very important to media and to the compact. The treaty that Ghana has signed with the United States government has transparency all written over it. We have described what will be an acceptable private sector transaction and an acceptable private sector provider. And one of the rules that we have agreed to go by is that we will have a transparent process, and that selection of the concessionaire will be through an open, competitive process. And that is why we have currently opened up, and we have requested for expression of interest, and we will follow the process through. We have enough measures within the MEDA system and within the compact arrangements to ensure that transparency is complied with and that the system is fair. And I also want to add that the operations of MEDA and the operations, how we operate compact, is going to be highly audited. Every procurement that we undertake is audited. And if there are adverse audit findings against us, we will have to face the sanctions that come along with them.
Ultimately, what are the benefits that Ghanaians should expect if ECG is a concessionaire takes over ECG?
Well, if the concessionaire takes over ECG, one of the first benefits to the power system is that because the concessionaire will be operating in a better fashion, he will be a credible, what we call a credible off-taker of power. He will be somebody that will give confidence to independent power producers, and therefore we expect that people can line up more to produce power, and that will solve the problem of inadequate power generation. Additionally, because of their expertise and because they are also injecting additional capital into the system, we are going to have quality of service improving, because that is going to result in a reduction of technical losses, reduction of commercial losses, and that will improve quality of service. We also expect customer service also to improve, because the concessionaire will be somebody who has a track record in these situations and will be called upon to introduce those measures such that these benefits will accrue to the customers.
When you talk about customer service, is this that we can call ECG and the helpline and then they'll speak nice English to us? Is that what
well, it's not. Customer service is not, well, nice English is also nice, but it's not enough for them to speak nice English. You want your problem solved. If you don't have power, you want the power solved. If there is a problem with supply to your enterprise, you want that problem solved. You know, and even the way they go about solving it, you know, they should not cut your power supply over the weekend and other related matters. All these are important and they all affect the way we operate, and these we believe will inure to the benefits of customers in general.
All right, thank you very much, Engineer Asafo. Engineer Asafo is the Chief Executive of the Millennium Development Authority. Now, Director of Programs at the Africa Center for Energy Policy, William Mbwachi, meanwhile says Ghanaians must continue pushing for information on the power badges from government. The power badges are supposed to help reduce the impact of the power crisis on the country. Mr. Mbwachi joined a journalist who has been following the information without success in a discussion about why both the Power Ministry and the country representative of the car powership are not forthcoming with information about the arrival of the power badges.
Also not pushing hard enough.
Okay.
For information. If we were, probably they will give it to us. I think we have to do that every day. Call them every day. Let the people know that you have been following us.
Okay.
And I mean, probably they will own up to give us the information. But we cannot be in the dark. But perhaps we have also not been consistent. We ask in a month, they will go to sleep and come back another month asking, and then they don't want to give us the information. If we keep asking, perhaps they will come up.
Probably on a daily basis, so we'll keep pushing.
But we have to keep asking and pushing.
But what's the information available to you as the Center or African Center for Energy Policy? What's the information available to you? You can share with us.
From what we are thinking, we know that the budgets are already in Turkey, but there hasn't still been a financial closure to allow the budget to fail to Ghana, and that's why they are not coming. So we need GMB to come and tell us why the budgets are not sailing to Ghana as we speak, because we're told that they should come this month. The month has started, the budget still in Turkey. So what is the problem? What is holding the financial transaction permitted go through so that we can have the budget still to Ghana to solve our problem?
It's been difficult actually to say you want to get some information as to where, just an update on issues of the power badges. I tried ECG first because initially we were told that when the power badges come, it's going to be under ECG's management because they're the ones who are going to provide, use the service of the power badges to serve us. So I tried ECG and I was told that ECG can't provide the information because the whole issue is with the Ministry of Energy. And through work, I managed to get someone who is an official of car powership. The name was given to me just as Robert, and I got his contact details. So I said, okay, if this is the company that is providing us with the badges, then they may be the best. So I tried like continuously 3 days, and I got the gentleman. The only thing he told me was that yes, he's an official of car power, but he can't speak to me because officially they have been told that every communication should be sanctioned by the Energy Ministry before it can come out. I said, oh, but you are the company that is providing the badges, so if we need some information, why not you? He said that is the official communication they have. So although he's a representative of the company and is in Ghana here, he cannot give me any information on the badges.
You're watching Joy News Prime, and at the top of the bulletin, at the top of the hour, we told you about the fact that the Ministry of Finance is said to have resumed engagements with investors towards raising the Eurobond loan. There's some breaking news right now, which is the fact that the Finance Ministry has indeed secured the Eurobond loan. We'll have the details coming for you in business, which comes up after this break. Stay tuned. Good evening to you, Etana.
Evening, Israel.
All right, so there's some breaking news, which should be good news to us.
Finally, government has been able to raise Eurobond fund, that 1.5 billion, but well, as it stands, we've raised 1 billion at an interest rate of about 10.8%. And it's a good news, Israel, because I mean, finally, we've been able to get people to give us the loan.
So with the concerns about the Eurobond loan and the reason why government pushed it forward or delayed was because the interest rate that was being requested for by the investors was pretty high.
Yeah.
11% we're told.
Yes.
And now we're told that now they secured
10.8%.
It's still pretty high.
It's still high, and Israel, I really don't know how we're going to pay this.
We'll find a way to pay it, except that it's going to be cutthroat, and we have to deal with it. Certainly, there are implications.
Yes, there are.
Right.
There are. All right, now government has finally been able to raise the Eurobond funds. The deal, which was closed earlier today according to information picked up from the Reuters news agency, has seen governments raise about $1 billion at an interest rate of 10.8%. The bond would rather mature in 15 years and the payment will stagger over 3 years. That is 2028, 2029 and 2030. Meanwhile, an economist, Dr. Godfrey Bokping, has warned government to be wary of the interest rate charged on this loan.
I think that certainly we don't have many options that are favorable to us if we don't go for the Eurobond. So certainly, given the fundamentals of the economy and given global development is such that perhaps we should be prepared to accept it at a higher cost, and that will mean in terms of higher debt servicing for the country and a little bit of tightening going forward. So I think that we don't have a lot of options for us to say that okay, we will look elsewhere. I'm sure is a reason why investors perhaps will also hold out for more. There is also the global dimension to it, even as the US exit their unconventional monetary policy development in China and other things. But I think the variation in the secondary market that we see has also more to do with the weaknesses in the political and economic fundamentals of the country. If we don't do so, it has implications for the dollar, the cedi. It has implication for the execution of the 2015 budget. It has an implication for our new debt management strategy that we are implementing. And more so, you see, the first time we issued the Eurobond, we did so at 8.5%. That in itself was high enough compared to maybe our neighbor or even others who did the Eurobond issue later. But perhaps that was our first time. There should have been a sustained effort consistently at working at the fundamentals of the economy, get improved credit rating before you go onto the market. With the kind of credit rating that we had and development in the global market is such that we can't really have that at perhaps the rate at which we would have been comfortable with.
Now, still on loans, the World Bank is asking Ghana and all sub-Saharan African economies to borrow prudently to avoid ballooning public debts. Acting chief economist at the World Bank Africa, Poonam Chauhan Pol, in a video conference told journalists funds borrowed must be invested in productive sectors of the economy.
We do find that public debt has gone up quite rapidly, and that there has been non-concessional borrowing and as well, and the country's external debt has also gone up. The issue with debt is that it should be done in, debt is taken on by countries so they can invest in other areas of the economy. So I think it's important that borrowing be done in medium-term framework. So it is important for countries, and it's not just Ghana, but countries that are borrowing in markets to actually do that in a prudent way. So this is a great opportunity for the region to actually focus more on reforms that can be undertaken, including in terms of domestic resource mobilization and in terms of structural reforms that would help to boost the competitiveness of African countries, because I think the Africa Rising story is still strong, but there needs to be a focus on relevant reforms.
Now, the Transport Ministry has announced that government will settle on a partner by first quarter next year for the establishment of a new national carrier. Accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers is currently scrutinizing requests from some other airlines. However, reports indicate government is likely to settle on Qatar Airways as the new partner. Speaking at a press conference a while ago, Sector Minister Jifar Tivo says they have come far in settling on the partner.
The vision of the John Mahama administration is to establish a new national carrier The transactional advisory services are ongoing. This is being undertaken by PricewaterhouseCoopers. The feasibility studies have been completed and requests for proposal documents are currently being prepared for adverts to be published by November 2015 for strategic investors to submit proposals to partner government to establish the new national airline. We estimate that a partner will be selected by the first quarter of next year.
Kenya Airways is set to expand its network in Accra with more routes in West Africa. The airline will soon start operating with the ultra-modern aircraft of Boeing 787 in Ghana, following an impressive fleet size in the country. Abigail Adumakuentri visited Kenya Airways in Nairobi and has come through with this report.
Kenya Airways is widely considered as one of the leading sub-Saharan airline operators. The airline is currently a public-private partnership venture with the Kenyan government, having close to 30% shares, while KLM has shares of about 27% in the airline. Kenya Airways, in a bid to strengthen their operations across the world, has set up a training center which offers services to over 500 trainees. The airline has acquired simulators for the Dreamliner 737 to offer pilots the best training experience.
If you've been wondering how pilots have been practicing what they do and when they go to school, or even when we are, part of an airline, well, no need to think so much. Behind me is a simulator, and pilots do everything that they need to do in terms of training inside. Everything that happens in the air when you're flying a plane, be it turbulence, be it thunderstorm, whatever it is, this simulator can give that atmosphere in there, and the pilots learn everything in there. And when they go on the field, it is not new to them because inside here they have gone through the situations.
Kenya Airways plans to introduce a new Dreamliner 787 into Ghana while expanding its network in the sub-region.
So this year we brought a brand new aircraft to travel from Accra to Nairobi and then connect with the Dreamliner from Nairobi to other places. It's called the 737-800, the next generation. Yes, we are also expanding our West African operations, and we are hoping to bring in the Dreamliner to Accra in the next couple of months.
Marketing manager for Kenya Airways West Africa, Anthony Safo, also adds the airline has developed new pricing structure for its clients in Ghana.
The hottest thing we are involved with now is Kiki Hot Deals. It's a new pricing structure. It's targeted mainly at our corporate clients. We are trying to let them save some money off their budgets, be able to stretch their budget, and so we have come up with a new pricing structure where people who book early can save up to half of the original fares that they would have paid.
Kenya Airways remains one of the pillars of the Kenyan economy, boosting tourism, which contributes 61% to the country's GDP.
Now, mobile phone developers are now coming up with products to suit the smooth running of businesses. One of such, Technomobile, has developed the Phantom 5 phone with features to aid patrons in their businesses.
The Techno Phantom 5 combines features of the range of products the company has come up with this year. The 5.5-inch phone is full HD and comes with 32 megapixels with better picture quality. General Manager of Technomobile Zone, Daniel Glover, explains to Joy Business the phone suits businesses.
It will be very relevant for businessmen and women. The memory of this phone is 32 gigs, and it also has, that is for the ROM, and the RAM is 3 gig. And that gives you a lot of capacity for businessmen to be able to store their information on the phone and not, because it takes cognizance of the fact that you are always on the go and you don't have to be in the office to be able to do the needful. And if you have a phone that the battery at 10% can cause you to be able to work for 4 good hours from then it means that the businessman would lose nothing. He is able to send his, his text messages on the go, and is able to speak to relevant clients on the move.
At the launch of the product, the CEO of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Kweku Sechi Ado, applauded the initiative. He called for the review of the tax imposition on mobile phone import.
The government and the authorities, they were really kind enough last year to announce in the budget the removal of a 20% import duty on mobile devices. now that it's fully aware and of the impact that lowering the tax on mobile devices will have, we are confident, we trust that in the coming budget they will go ahead, and even if they will not fully reduce the tax to zero, that the common external tariff of ECOWAS will come into force.
The Tecno Phantom 5 has meanwhile been pegged at about 1,300 cedis, a price Tecno says is below the modules it has introduced.
And that's how we wrap up with business. My name is Eton Amse.
Business News was...
You're watching Joy News Prime. Now on to the rest of our story. Some residents in communities affected by AngloGold Ashanti mining activities are accusing the company of poorly handling their compensation issues. The agitated farmers say they will go to court if AngloGold fails to address their concerns. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has been following the story and joins us on the phone with more. Good evening to you, Nuruddin. What are the key concerns of these farmers?
Hello, Israel.
Yes, I was asking, what are the key concerns of these farmers?
Israel, the farmers are not actually against the operation of AngloGold Ashanti. They say AngloGold can go ahead and make their profit, but that should not be at the expenses of the vulnerable, whose only source of, livelihood is is the agriculture. So they have been. We are not happy also that the company is classifying all of them as speculative farming, and that they have there are countless farmers who cultivate cocoa and palm seedlings as a source of livelihood. They are also saying that the amount that they are supposed to receive from the company has not been coming. The company gives them what they like, and that is their concern. So they want the one company, Randgold, who is going into partnership with AngloGold, to take notice of that and make sure these issues will be addressed before they take over Ashanti Gold.
Now, how have they been stating or expressing their frustrations and agitations? Have they been demonstrating, for instance?
Israel, I hardly hear you.
I'm asking, have they been demonstrating to express their grievances or concerns?
Exactly. At the time we reached to the scene, there were demonstrations. They were very, very annoyed. They were not happy, and we actually went to some of the farms that were, destroyed for the mining, for the operation, and we saw that the whole place was fenced by AngloGold, and there wasn't any way we could get there. They are not happy about the whole situation, but they just want AngloGold to pay them what is due them, and they will continue with the operation. That is all that they want now, because they think after all, if they were to be farming, they would have paid more than what AngloGold has given them.
All right, Nuruddin, what has been the reaction of AngloGold to these concerns by the farmers?
Well, I have been trying to speak to their public relations officer, but it hasn't been successful. We've been trying to get information from them as to what they are putting in place for these farmers, but unfortunately we haven't gotten any of them to speak to.
Do we know exactly when the farmers say they will sue AngloGold?
Israel,
I'm asking, do we know when exactly the farmers intend to sue AngloGold?
No, they haven't. They were not, specific. But what they want the public to know is that the Randgold should consider their concerns. Before they take over AngloGold. And so, but if they are not able to, if they don't do that, they don't consider their concerns, and afterwards they would file a lawsuit against them, because they think what is due them must be paid.
All right, thank you very much, Mohammed Nuruddin, joining us from the Ashanti region. Government is urging the National Association of Graduate Teachers to exercise restraint while it tries to resolve their grievances. NAGRAT is threatening to embark on a strike from next week of unpaid allowances, but Employment and Labour Relations Minister Harry Adriso is assured the teachers will be paid soon.
I'm aware that NAGRA too have issued a threat, but at least for them, they have respected my procedure and laws. I read their notice subsequent to coming here about their intention within 7 days to embark on a strike action. The 7 days gives me an opportunity, and Chief Executive Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, I know that you have the mandate under the law, and I'm sure you don't want me to say this publicly. In law, you are responsible for negotiations, not Minister for Employment and Labor. Mine is to facilitate and support him to do that on behalf. The institutions of this country must work, and they will work. Therefore, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, I'm not supposed to be given directives, but you have 24 hours to let me know the status of your negotiations with NAGRA, because I do know that at the last meeting, we made some commitment to make some releases to them, to which we had the commitment of the Ministry of Finance and the Contract Accountant General to pay same to them. That payment will be done. So I'll rather cautiously advise NAGRA to hasten slowly with their intended strike action, and that we are working to oblige ourselves of the commitments that we made at the last meeting with the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which was some releases in respect of some allowances that were due them.
The Ghana Highway Authority is demanding the removal of unauthorized billboards positioned along some roads in Accra. The authority says these billboards pose an accident risk and has threatened to impose hefty fines on their owners if they fail to remove or reposition them.
The teams from the National Road Safety Commission and the Ghana Highway Authority went around Accra to paste notices on wrongfully cited billboards. Head of Research and Training at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Alex Obeng, tells Joy News the exercise will help prevent accidents.
The road law mandates that because of the road safety problem with regard to preventable crashes that occur on our road corridors as a result of posting of advertising signs at inappropriate places that sometimes obscures and obstruct and interferes with traffic flow, among others. A lot of Ghanaians have died out of this, and a lot of crashes have also been happening. And as a result, apart from the LI 21H, Regulation 188, and then the Ghana Highway Authority Act 540, and the Ghana Standards Authority Procedure GS 847 of 2010. These laws set the legal framework for anybody who wants to advertise on our road corridor with regard to the use of billboards. But it's over time been realized that majority of our stakeholders who are advertisers are also abusing these standards, undermining and compromising safety at junctions, interchanges, and on urban roads, highways, and on our motorways.
A representative of the Advertisers Association of Ghana, Abdul Majid, who is on the team, told Joy News non-registered advertisers are the ones flouting the law.
We are aware of the law, and the members of AAG comply with the laws. We have other that are not members of the association, and it's difficult to find them. So you may come on the road and find other billboards that does not conform to the laws that we operate.
Up next, we bring you international news. Now, time for the JNITs, and Aisha Ibrahim is joining me. Good evening to Aisha.
Good evening, Israel.
Yes. So what's coming up on JNI?
Well, it seems the woes of mental health patients in the country are not going away anytime soon, because if you're cash strapped, your loved ones who may be having psychiatric issues are in trouble. I'll tell you why. Also, let's say today was your last day on earth. What would you do differently? And finally, we've got some outstanding people celebrating their birthdays today. So you will have to join us within the hour on the interactive segment on Joy News Prime. But before we go, there is an interesting jingle for Joy News. We'll tell you all about that when we come back. My name is Aisha Ibrahim.
Joy News. Woman news all yet today food juice. Woman news all yet today food juice. Sports, no style, joy. Twitter cost one for Jordan and to what did they you.
All right, we're going to have all that coming up for you in the second hour of Joy News Prime. So you have to stay tuned to that. We also have entertainment coming up, and then we have sports as well. Please stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit. This is Joy News Prime Time now for a recap of our top stories. Government to settle on private sector tutor for the Electricity Company of Ghana by May 2017 under the Millennium Challenge Compact. Ministry of Transport urges the public to be measured in commentary on Starboard Airlines accident at Tamale Airport on Tuesday. Accra Police advise vehicle owners to install tracking devices in their cars as the number of carjackings shoot up. Minister of Trade and Labour Relations asks striking psychiatric nurses to call off the industrial action as government works on resolving their concerns. And Ghana and the Finance Ministry has some breaking news just coming through is that the Finance Ministry has secured the Eurobond loan at 10.87% for 15 years in London, and the funds they secured is $1 billion. But moving on to other stories, put a tracking device in your car. That's the advice from the Accra Regional Police Commander following a spate of carjackings in the national capital. DCOP Christian Tete Yohonu was speaking at an identification parade for suspects alleged to have stolen cars. Anodame has more.
DCOP Yehondo explained how the car snatchers operate.
On the 4th of October 2015, at about 2 a.m., 4 young men armed with a pump action gun broke into a house at New Botiano, a suburb of Accra. The 4 attacked the victim, subjected him to severe beatings, tied him with his own flying tie, and making away with the following items: 1 HP laptop computer, 1 iPad phone, 1 Samsung phone, set of jewelry, an amount of 600 Ghana cedis. Not satisfied with this, they demanded for the victim's ignition key to his Toyota Hilux pickup parked on the compound and drove it away together with their booty.
DCOP Yehondo stated, without the assistance of the tracking devices, retrieving the stolen vehicles would have been difficult.
With the help of a car tracking device, the police managed to intercept the vehicle at Chopoli, Barima, along Sugakope Road, within about an hour as they head towards Togo. The police is advising the general public to beware of recent activities of car snatching and try to procure car tracking devices to facilitate the swift and apprehension of these criminals.
The police also paraded these 2 men alleged to have been in possession of Indian hemp.
The suspect, Mustafa Mohammed, went to ABC Transport Services Terminal at car price with 2 traveling bags to secure his traveling ticket to Nigeria. During his pre-departure formalities, the porter in charge of the terminal opened the first bag, found 28 parcels of suspected Indian hemp concealed in the bag. The porter again opened the second bag in the presence of the suspect, Mustafa Mohammed, and it also contained 20 parcels concealed in the second bag. He was quickly handed over to the police with the SBs. We have Stephen Buffet. He's also been arrested with the compressed parcels of dry leaves suspected to be Indian hemp.
All of these suspects, according to DCOP Yehondo, are ex-convicts, a source of worry for the police. He says investigations are ongoing and they will soon be arraigned before court. My name is Hannah Odame for Joy News.
Government has come under criticism for allegedly neglecting the country's mental health delivery system. That's the accusation from an NGO which campaigns for improved mental health care. The criticism follows a strike by the psychiatric nurses and the decision by the Accra Psychiatric Hospital to start charging patients.
The Executive Director for Basic Needs Ghana says government has breached the law requiring it to provide free mental health care and must, as a matter of urgency, correct that system. Peter Barima says current happenings within the health sector, particularly with mental health care, are worrying. He adds that the country's mental health sector is overwhelmed with challenges because of lack of planning and commitment by the leaders. Mr. Barima also raised concern over the low priority given to health issues.
The failure of government to release funds for mental health services, particularly for the running of the psychiatric hospitals, is a breach of the law and a breach of the trust that people have vested on managers of the country and the economy, and for that matter the health service. Similarly, the desperate move of managers of the hospital to, let me call it, unilaterally put in charges that, to the best of my knowledge, I may be wrong and I stand to be corrected, have not gone through the process of getting the needed approval because they don't want the hospital to run aground like a ship, also leaves some bit of concern, and I hope the right thing will be done for us to, even if costs are going to be introduced into hospitals, they are done in a way that people are prepared, their minds are prepared, they seek the needed reliefs for this to happen. But it's also equally pointing to the fact that our mental health care financing, we've not got it right yet. And that is why issues of the idea that, oh, mental health care is free, mental health care is free, needs to be looked at.
He also stressed the urgent need for government to give equal attention to the mental health sector, just like it does with the other sectors.
Mental health services are among the least provided because of least investments, because of low levels of manpower, because of inadequate infrastructure. And if some of these things happening go to affect mental health, then it's going to make the situation of people with mental illness more difficult for them.
Undercover reporter Barima Osei Asare is one of the most popular people in Ghana today. He's got his critics and he's got those who admire, respect and hold him out as a hero. One of his admirers, a student at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, believes that the journalist deserves a national memorial, especially for his recent expose on judicial corruption. But until that happens, Godwin Addo is determined to build statues to honor his investigative hero.
This is the cover of his face, and this is the cloth that he normally or often wears when he's interviewed. This is the sandals made of cat.
It is clear who 24-year-old Godwin Addo considers as his hero, although Anas stokes controversy wherever he focuses his lens. For Addo, he can do no wrong. His firm conviction is that the work of the investigative journalist is the best way to save the country from the canker of corruption.
I see Anas to be somebody who is some supreme being. Yeah, somebody who nobody knows his identity. Nobody knows the kind of person. So I use him as like somebody that he understands everything, not looking on to only the great people, the politicians, and the people that we see to be the public figures, but I was really admired and so happy when I heard such news. So that was the main issue that inspired me to do this work. So I did this work to celebrate or commemorate such people in the world and in Ghana, and as an artist, such people need to be commemorated and celebrated in our world.
With this sculpture, Godwin Addo hopes to immortalize Anas Aremeyao Anas. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Impressive work there. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you entertainment. Evening to you, Miss G.
Good evening, Israel.
All right, so
I am excited. I'm super excited. I am excited.
Okay.
Because it's your birthday.
Oh.
Yes.
It's my birthday.
But you didn't tell me you went to Every Girls.
No, that was a joke.
Oh, you went to Every Girls.
No, that was a joke.
Okay, so
whatever you heard on radio.
Movies about your school, Every Girls.
Whatever you heard on radio was Lexus Bill just trying to he's just trying to tease me. You don't really like to do it. You're really quiet guy, and
I know, but you've been enjoying your birthday, haven't you?
Yes. Which birthday apparently I celebrate with Kwakese?
Yeah.
October Bones Rock.
Do you?
Oh yeah, we do.
Well, if you do, then I have a fantastic surprise for you, Easy. Let's go. Watch this.
Oh, I love you very much, and I know you know this. I love you so much. I pray for the blessings of God never to depart from you. I wish you better years ahead than what you've even had in the past. And I'm sure the kids also have the same sentiments as I've already expressed. I love you so much, and I know we have better years ahead. And Israel is spoiled, so I call him Osei. Israel is a spoiled chap, so I call him Osei. I won't tell you why I say he's a spoiled chap.
Just going to ask you.
No, Israel is a very spoiled chap. I mean, people don't know. Maybe that is what people don't know. Israel is a very, very spoiled chap, and so I nicknamed him Osei. And he says I bring out that thing in him, the bad boy thing in him. So he also calls me Osebia. And we actually have beads. M. Sims made us beads bracelets. And so he has his Osei and his Israel on his bracelets, and I have my Louisa and Osebia on my bracelets as well. But he's a spoiled chap. He knows that.
No, people will be very curious, saying that he's a spoiled chap.
Oh yes, he is a very spoiled chap.
Just reveal a bit of it, like...
Israel looks like he wouldn't talk. Israel looks like he doesn't hurt a fly. But he can be quite fierce. Israel can be quite fierce, yes.
Okay, so I told you I was excited, and Osebia sent a greetings, lots of love for you. Osebia, I didn't know you were Osei. You never said. Oh, you aren't talking anymore. Okay, I was told that,
Okay.
It's
about Kwake.
Oh, look at you.
Okay, so it's about Kwakese.
No, it's about you today, then Kwakese later.
Okay, let's talk about Kwakese.
So are we done talking about you?
Yes.
So you'll say actually. I didn't know. Anyway, so rapper Emmanuel Botre, popularly called Kwakese, turns 38 today. The Swedro-born rapper is known for many hit songs, including the latest that's supposed to be his new name, Yakubu. His wife surprised him with a birthday party, which had lots of celebrities turning up.
To Ball J. I'm sure you've heard Ball J beats.
Yo. We still staying behind the scenes, man. Get ready. And me, I call this one a happier birthday. Oh, it's not happy birthday because I'm tired of happy birthday.
Okay.
This is what we call a happier birthday, man. Ball J be in the building. Kwakese 2015. MW in the building. New Africa representing live. You know what I'm saying? We having fun over here, man. Straight up. D Black in the building.
What do you have to say to him?
Happy birthday to Kwakese. I've known him for a very, very long time. I want to wish him more success, God's blessings, and everything that he wishes for himself. Have a happy birthday, Kwao.
Yeah. Wow. Madman. Happy birthday, bro.
Today is going down his birthday, and we are live in his palace right now. As you can see, more things are going on.
Well, his friends and family were also there to wish him well.
Charlie is going down. What I say, happy birthday to me.
Yes.
What I say, and it's going down. Fufu party. This is my fufu. As you can check it. Especially by my wife. pokes.
Any more messages for Kwakese?
It's a privilege, to use this platform to wish me a happy birthday. He's a very nice person. He's very innovative. He's everything, so this day I'm just wishing him, all the best. He should have a blast, and the kids and I, we love him so much. The kids, and that's my daughter. Okay. Say something.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Boche, and today is my dad's birthday. I'm very happy celebrating this. Happy birthday, Daddy.
Now we are going to talk to Kwakese's sister, who is also enjoying her fufu.
I wish him all the best, and I told him he's officially old today, so we have to eat fufu. That's what we are doing now.
And there was this part of the celebration that got observers worried. Okay, so how about having a birthday cake made in your darling club's colors?
Happy birthday to you.
All right, talk about Ghanaian musician making Ghana proud, and of course his name won't be mentioned, but reggae artist Rocky Dauni is doing just that after his latest album Branches of the Same Tree was rated 10 on the US Billboard chart. He has also added another big one.
Oh God, I wish I had an answer, causing sweet love.
Just yesterday, musician Rocky Dauni joined the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Leadership Council, a council which provides strategic advice, opening doors and using talents to advance social justice. The council includes the ex-president Bill Clinton, Archbishop Desmond Tutu Quincy Jones, and other personalities dedicated to supporting the activities and programs of Robert F. Kennedy. In his speech, Rocky Dauni said the primary mission of his music has been focused on amplifying the greater good and being an instrument for justice and defense of human rights. He said it's an honor to join the esteemed Robert F. Kennedy Leadership Council to champion its vision and aspiration.
I say it's from Africa, in Ghana, Jaja seals and signs and delivers.
Now, it's been years since the star couple split, but memories of the torture and assault by ex-boyfriend Chris Brown are still fresh in Rihanna's mind. The pop star has finally Please come. All right. Oh my God. Oh. Happy birthday.
Oh.
You pulled it off.
Oh,
guys.
Can I sing for you?
Yes, sing for him.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, J-Show. Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
Thank you
But
so
you want
much.
to recount Bralai days, when you guys performed together, Bisbal, you want to tell us about it? No, Israel, you keep talking about it.
Actually, he came to surprise me. I didn't know he was coming on stage.
What happened that day, Israel?
Okay, so they've been talking about Bralai for a long time, and Miss Bell has been singing Bralai for a long time. So for Night with the Stars, I decided that, okay, why don't we do something together? So she was on stage. I had rehearsed my lines, and I just decided that I was just going to go on stage and do some lines. I don't know if you actually have that video.
We don't have it. You're going to do it live.
But I don't want you to show it.
No, you want to do it live here for us to see.
Pictures of it.
She has pictures of it. Oh. We're going to post the pictures, but can you do the performance again here?
If they can play the song,
okay,
we can do it.
But Miss Beck can give us the tune,
Okay.
I'll be 16 years, so. All right.
He looks super and proper.
You see? Okay.
Okay, so you
I should do it.
Yeah.
I'll be 16, yes. I go to be like the soul. If you touch my tino, I go tell mommy, oh. Hey, bralai, no doing so. Bralai, no messing up. Bralai.
Okay, then I came and I said, Bralai, I go do you so or something to that effect. Okay. But this has been fun.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much
How
for
old
coming.
are you now?
Actually 41 years
41, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
For real?
41 years old.
Cross your heart.
Oh yeah, 41 years
Wow,
old.
my God.
Yeah.
He doesn't look it?
No!
Oh, Brala, you're so handsome.
This has been...
Happy birthday.
Thank you. This has been such
I have
a wonderful...
another surprise for you.
Really?
But not here.
I'm sure at this point...
Okay, now at some point I'm going to pass out.
I know.
Can we just take a break? Can we just take a break?
I wish you all the best.
Entertainment news was brought to you.
All right, it's time now for sports, and I just hope that they're not going to pull up another thing. Okay, you're not here to also do something. Okay.
Thank
all
you,
right.
Clark. Wish I had known
So
earlier.
I think the biggest news of the day is that Sepp Blatter has been suspended.
How can the biggest news of the day be that Sepp Blatter has been suspended when it's your birthday?
No, enough.
I mean, how?
It's sports time now.
It's sports time. Life begins at 40 and he's 41. That means you're a year old. But Sepp Blatter has been suspended, yes. We are not too sure because there's a bit of conflicting information. Okay. But what is sure is that the Ethics Committee of FIFA have said that they recommend that he should be suspended for 90 days while the investigations go on. So it's one of the topical news items.
There's some breaking news. Take it away.
Yeah, I'll take it away. And so, thank you very much for joining us on the sports. I'm Gary Al Smith. And as you heard, Sepp Blatter is in the news for all those reasons. We are not too sure what is going to be done. However, it's a developing story. And if you head over to myjoyonline.com/sport, you will see that Sepp Blatter has been asked by FIFA to step aside for a while, even though it is not confirmed at the moment. All the big media houses, the BBC, CNN, the Associated Press and others are reporting certain conflicting things. So we'll give you relevant and concrete information when it becomes available to us. Anyway, let's do some World Cup news, and it's qualifiers time. 26 countries across the continent from now until next week Monday will start playing to get a place in the next World Cup. And the prelude to Kenya versus Mauritius preliminary game